Hi, I'm Anita of my Duke and I podcast, and welcome to the channel. So, Harry's 2 days Court of Appeal hearing in the United Kingdom is over. That, if you were not aware, that was on Tuesday and Wednesday. Today is Thursday. That is behind him. Even today, a new report came out where Harry has visited Ukraine. Of course, that was on the wraps because anytime you're visiting these kind of troubled regions or war zone area, it is best kept a secret. And then after you've visited the region, that's when you release the information. But anyways, let's get into the court case a little, and then we will talk more about Harry's visit to Ukraine. So let's just backtrack a little about the Court of Appeals case that was happening over the last 2 days for Harry in the United Kingdom. So basically, in 2020, Prince Harry and Meghan, they made the decision to step back from their role as members of the British royal family, and that was echoed in the hearing that took place over the last 2 days. They were literally forced out because they were not being protected by the royal family. So in light of that, they departed and they came here into the United States, where they are currently raising their family. That includes Lilibet and Archie, who is 5, Lilibet, who is 3. And we have been seeing some photos of these beautiful children. And it's just a wonderful thing that Meghan and Harry have chosen to come here into the United States because they are thriving here. I remember Harry being on that flight and referred to it as the Freedom Flight. A lot of people may reference that and saying, why does Harry want to go back to the United Kingdom? And why is he fighting for, security when he goes back to the United Kingdom? At the end of the day, people have to understand that Harry is from the United Kingdom. That is his homeland. He has a right to go there anytime he wants, though he may live here in the United States, but he should have the prerogative to go back to England anytime he feels like, and he should be assured the proper security as well. He's made it abundantly clear that he would like to let his children know where he is from, the United Kingdom, and not to mention that Archie was born in the United Kingdom as well. So he would also like Archie to know his home country as well. So, for those people who are jumping on the bandwagon talking about Harry was on the Freedom Flight and that he should be happy where he is right now in the United Kingdom, I say that Harry should have the freedom to go wherever he wants, but at the same time, he should be assured the ability and the protection to go back to his country if he so chooses. Okay? So, I'm just saying that to all the people in the back who is not listening or who have some opinion that is irrational. Okay? So, since Harry has launched his legal battle to challenge the decision of not giving him proper protection, and the protection that they've given him, they've called it bespoke. But when Harry look at that so-called bespoke, when they say bespoke, they mean tailored protection. When he looks at it and look at the prior protection that he has received, there is clearly a discrepancy in what he now receives compared to what he had received in the past. And if anybody knows, it should be Harry, because he is the person at the center of the storm. So, and he's able to compare what he's receiving currently and what he had then. So he is the best person or best arbiter of what he's currently receiving, I should say. Okay? So definitely he has a right to fight for what is best for him, and his family so that his family is not put at risk. So, what is at the center of this case? So, here, what surrounds this case literally is the action of a RAVIC. RAVIC, basically, a specialized UK committee, I should say, that is responsible for determining the security arrangements for members of the royal family and public figure. That's what RAVIC does. RAVIC decided that Harry would no longer receive the same level of protection as he had when he was a working royal, citing his changed role and a residence in the United States. My thing here is that Harry did not ask to be a prince. He was born a prince, and the same type of protection that his brother, who was born a prince, received is the same type of protection that Harry should receive. They're both Diana's children, same mother, and they are both Charles's children, same father. Why should there be a difference in the type of protection that one is receiving from the other one, I say? Anybody who has a different opinion, put it in the comment. So, Harry's legal team contends that this decision was unfair, it is inconsistent, and did not follow proper procedure. So, the whole idea here is also that when they made the decision to give Harry this bespoke protection, they did not inform him. He was not part of the loop. They made it on his behalf, and he was not able to have an input into what is going on in his life in terms of the threats against him. And if he was able to present those threats, his security, that the so-called bespoke security that he's getting, would not be the way that it is currently. Um, he's under the impression that he had a right to know, and he was not given the right to know. He was not given an input in his security. It was made, decisions were made behind his back, and he has a problem with that, and rightfully so. Okay, so um as I said, that Harry's legal team contends that this decision was certainly unfair, inconsistent, and did not follow proper procedure. In court, Harry's lawyer argued that he has been treated differently from others in similar position, and that the so-called bespoke security arrangements provided to him are inadequate given the nature and seriousness of the threats he faces. One of the threats that Harry described, and which was discussed behind the hearing on Wednesday behind closed doors, which was most of Wednesday, was the threats of Al Qaeda and some of what Harry experienced here in New York. And we have seen Harry talked about threats of paparazzi chasing them, like what they experienced in New York after the Miss Foundation Awards, where they were chased in their taxi and in their vehicle and so on. So, when you think about what happened to Diana, and I'm sure that is playing in Harry's mind, and we saw that in their documentary, Harry and Meghan docu-series, those things do play in his mind. This is how he lost his mom. So I would imagine how concerned he is for his family in general. And that is what he has been saying. So, and that is what he wants the judge to understand, that the security is not going to protect his family. The current security that he's receiving is not going to protect his family. because it is definitely wishy-washy. It is not top level, and it is not what other people are getting in the same position that he is in. Okay, so yes, so it is just inadequate, and given the nature and seriousness of the threat that he's facing right now, as well as his family. So during the most recent hearing, which was on Tuesday and on Wednesday, because this is something that is ongoing, because they had um, previously they had ruled against Harry, and then Harry appealed, and they sort of were not going to retry the case, but Harry won this hearing, this appeals hearing, and that is what we saw on Tuesday and Wednesday. If people don't know, I'm just giving a synopsis of everything that happened. So as I said, during the Tuesday and Wednesday's hearing at the Court of Appeal in London, Prince Harry's lawyers emphasized that his life is at stake. And I'm hoping that people, or the judges and whoever is in here, is hearing that, and hopefully the world is hearing that Harry has been echoing that sentiment. His life is at stake, and I'm happy that this is out there. This was publicized. This hearing was on YouTube. Everybody could see it, with the exception of the the threats that people didn't that was private, that they didn't want to air publicly. Okay, but that is on record. So if anything happens to Harry, I hope fingers will be pointed at them. They will not be forgiven for not providing that security that Harry has been wailing and begging for. Okay, so definitely his life is at stake, and he cited, as I said, the Al Qaeda threats, the threats that he has received in New York, and all the other ongoing threats. We know of threats by, you know, the DJs on that radio show in, I think it was in Ireland or wherever it was, or the UK, and so on. So all of those things that Harry has said, and different security incidents that the public knows and the public doesn't know at all. Okay, so he we have to commend Prince Harry for showing up and telling people, or showing the judges, and that he is there, and he's serious, he means business, and they have to look him in his face. He is present, and he's going to remind them that he's a person, and he's a human being. And to me, the fact that he showed up in court was very important. Some people I saw on the internet say that Harry, didn't need to be there, but I think it was very important that he definitely put a face to the name Prince Harry by showing up and sitting there, so that people can see this is a human being. This is not just some name. Okay, so I'm, it was really nice that he was able to show up for the hearing, and in a way signaling how deeply he cares about the outcome of this case. And his presence was noted by the court as an indication of how much the issue matters to him and his family, for sure. So, lawyers for the UK government and the Home Office defended the decision, stating that Harry's current security arrangements are appropriate for his revised role and are based on a flexible approach tailored to his circumstances. Personally, I disagree with that, because I believe this so-called bespoke security arrangement, Harry has to give them 30 days notice in advance. This is so crazy, because sometimes you may have to do something on a whim. Something happens quickly and you have to move, and you don't have 30 days, you just have to move. And you should be able to call somebody and say, you know what, I'm going to be in tomorrow. And just like how William has security round the clock, Harry should have the security right away. It shouldn't have to take 30 days for them to put it together for Harry to get the security. That is really messed up, in my opinion. Okay? So that argument to me is a very, very weak. And it is the whole idea of saying bespoke is very stupid. It sounds fancy and it sounds like something that anybody would want, but it is just, I think it's all semantics. It's just a play on words, in my opinion. So the hearing, as I said, ended on Wednesday, and hopefully we will be getting back a judgment sometime later this month. And my hope is that it is in favor of Harry and that he comes out victorious. And he and I hope he doesn't give up if it doesn't go his way, and he keeps fighting, because at the end of the day, this is his home country. He wants to show his children his home country, and if he doesn't feel safe, then it's going to be a loss for him and for his children, and it's just not fair. It is just not fair. It is not fair to deprive these young children of where their dad is from. A lot of people who are listening may say that, oh, Harry should not take his children back to England on Shutter Island. Well, the, in my opinion, it is Harry's prerogative at this point. He should do whatever he feels like doing. Those are his children. I've come to the conclusion right now. I could have an opinion of what Harry and Meghan should do, but at the end of the day, the decision is up to them. The best thing that we can do with Harry and Meghan in this whole fandom is to continue to support their endeavors. We don't know what their internal life is. We're just people on the outside looking in. We don't know what is going on internally. So we can only support from the outside. If Harry wants to take his children to England to get to know England, this is where he's lived. He probably knows the best spots in England. He probably have friends there. We don't know. We just don't know. We're just a bunch of people from the outside looking in with a bunch of opinions. Okay? So, yes, we just have to mind our business. And if we cannot support and love unconditionally, then we don't need to be part of this. We just don't need to be part of this. Okay? So at the end of the day, it is Harry and Meghan's decision. And if we cannot support them unconditionally, then we don't need to be in this. We just don't need to be in this. But as I said, if they want to go back over there and, occasionally, let that be on them. If he wants the security to do that, let that be on them. Let that be the decision that they make, and they know what's best for them at the end of the day. So definitely, at the heart of the matter here, it is not just a legal debate over Harry's protection, but it's also, to me, a broader question about public safety. To me, it's also about government accountability, and it's how it's not about entitlement for Harry. It is about justice, and it is about what is right. And what is right is that Harry gets the security that his brother has and members of his family has, because he wasn't asked to be born and he wasn't asked to be a prince. He was born a prince. He's Diana's child, he's Charles's child, and he deserves what everybody else is getting. Okay, so let's see how the court comes back and let's see how they rule. Okay, so that's all for now. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.